Yo, what is up YouTube? James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of VGC 2018 Baek Battles. Today, we're using the Mega Gengar Whimsicott team once again with Incineroar, Tapu Bulu, Kommo-o and Terrakion alongside it. Let's play some games, but this team has been really enjoyable to play around with because it is something that reminds me of my past when I had to do a lot of experimenting around with Mega Gengar back in 2015, and fortunately, it doesn't seem like I've lost too much of my touch with Whimsicott Gengar. So let's see if we can put in some more work with this team. This team has been doing a lot better than I've been expecting. Of course, there are, some weaknesses of this team. It does have three ground weaknesses. Gengar losing Levitate really doesn't help with that, as we find the first opponent with the team of Blaziken, Zapdos, Landis Varian, Aegislash, Amoonguss, and Tapu Bulu. So this is going to be one heck of a matchup because this is going to be a weird one. I don't like three Pokemon on my opponent's team. Landers T is going to be a problem, plus Aegislash, plus Amoonguss, all plus Lele. Actually, four Pokemon that give me trouble. Five, you can even count the Mega Blaziken. Oh, this does not look fun. However, definitely still winnable. The problem is Landers or Tapu Bulu Scarf is my question. Ooh, and also I really don't like Aegislash. The Aegislash matchup is a bit weird with this team. Wondering if it's worth to bring Incineroar for Fake Out. Yet I'm not exactly too sure if I want Incineroar in this matchup. I think I do want to go Gengar Whimsicott as the lead as always. Maybe I don't opt for Bulu, but that sounds really weird. Because I'm thinking maybe Kommo plus Terrakion could do a lot of work, but it really... You know what? I do need Terrakion in this matchup for sure, but if I do bring Terrakion, I'm weak to the Blaziken, so that's where I think I had to bring Kommo. This is going to be weird. I'm not going to have any terrain control, so I can't encore my opponent, it looks like. If my opponent just leads off or has to Lele in the back, and I assume you do have Lele in the back. The good thing is my opponent can only bring 4 out of the 5 mods I'm really scared of. I'm not really too worried about Zapdos. Zapdos is probably the least of my concern. So let's see how this is gonna go. This is gonna be a hard matchup, but the point is maybe I could get Terrakion next to my Kommo when Terrakion's already boosted. Maybe that can really help. The problem with this is I'm not gonna have, if that is Scarf Landers and my opponent does bring Zapdos and Tailwind's up, I'm gonna have a really hard time to deal with it. So let's see what my opponent decides to opt for. Blaziken Landers will lead the field against my Blaziken Whimsicott Gengar. Okay, let's have some fun. So again, I still have no idea what the ability on this Landorus is. I could Tailwind turn 1. Well, if you want to Earthquake, you have to Protect here. You might double up into Whimsicott with like Rocks like Flare Blitz. I could also see you going for U-turn plus... Actually, I could see you going for U-turn into Whimsicott to get Lele in and go for a Protect with Blaziken, or maybe a double up. So I'm actually going to Protect Whimsicott here. And I think I'm fine losing my Gengar here because it looks like it gives me an opportunity to maybe set up with one of my Terrakion or my Kommo. And I do need damage on Landers because the damage on Landers will put it in range of the boosted Rock Slide, which is kind of what I'm hoping to get here. Let's see what my opponent does here though. We'll get the Gengar Mega Evolved here. Blaziken's going to Mega Evolve as well. Okay. Now it comes down to what does my opponent really do here, because I'm not exactly too sure of what you're going to do here. Shiny Mega Blaziken. Oh, no, I prefer the regular. We will Protect with Whimsicott. Let us see what the Landorus is going to go for turn 1. As it looks like no Protects on my opponent's side, I really do feel like it is going to be that double up in the Whimsicott, as we do get a Shadow Ball off an okay amount. Get a Special Defense drop, which helps. Flare Blitz going to come out and actually target down my Gengar slot, which is, I did not anticipate that one. So Gengar going to go down, which is alright here. And this is going to be an awkward position now. U-turn does come out. So Flare Blitz in the Gengar instead. Okay, so I actually could have potentially went for just a Tail and Protect right there. So I can go into Kommo. The problem is if I go into Kommo, I just don't see my... I will go Kommo here. Yeah, I'll go Kommo here. The problem is I can't beat up right away. So that's going to be the awkward part. Not being able to go for beat up. What are you going to do? Double in the Whimsicott with Flare Blitz? Or Flare Blitz U-turn? But the problem is that... Let's see. There are a lot of plays my opponent can make. I just don't know if you're going to hard switch out maybe into Landorus or I mean Leda, excuse me. So, and protect Blaziken, or if you're just going to attack the Whimsicott here. I really just want to go for a Terrakion. I really just want to actually just go for beat up and switch into Terrakion, or maybe just tail and switch into Terrakion. You know what? I'm going to do it. I think you don't give me your Blaziken here, because I think if you give me your Blaziken, that's a problem, and I do think I could get a potential beat up here, as Blaziken's actually going to hard switch out in a Lele. That actually works amazingly for me, because one, the Blaziken's not going to have the speed boost, two, I'm going to be able to preserve both my Pokemon, unless you're going to go for an Earthquake here, but do you really Earthquake here on your own Lele, because that would probably put it in Kommo's range of a Flamethrower, or if I had an awkward move like Flash Cannon or Poison Jab. Wow, a double switch Aegislash gonna come out though. Okay. Although I don't feel like this is too bad for my matchup. I think I do just want to go for the beat up Rock Slide. Landorus might come in, that's not too big of a deal. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for beat up and Rock Slide. I do need damage on Lele, because if I want to win this game, I'm probably going to need that damage on Lele. I also could get a potential flinch here, and it looks like no protects from my opponent's side. So I am going to be able to get my beat up off, and I'm hoping to set up for the end game with Kommo. So let's see how this is going to work, because I'm not even sure if this is going to work. Although, being able to get this +3 Rock Slide off into this Lele is absolutely huge here. So... Rock Slide does connect with both, fortunately. We'll be able to get a decent amount of damage off. Actually knocks out the Lele, which is absolutely huge in this matchup. I crit on Aegislash. Probably doesn't matter because I think Soul Blaze and the Flamethrower would still knock it out. Aegislash is going to go on the offensive here and reveal what? The Flash Cannon. So it is going to knock out my Terrakion most likely. Oh, targeting out my Whimsicott? Whoa, that's absolutely big right there. Okay, so tying down my Whimsicott, really interesting play right there. Landorus is going to come out, okay. Kommo can win this game, I just gotta figure out how I want to. Wow, that was absolutely huge. I thought maybe my opponent would go into Landorus and attack with Lele, or maybe preserve the Lele better, but instead probably want to go for the aggressive play, which works out for me because now I could... I think I want to double protect because I want to scout what the Aegislash does, really. I want to see if it carries wide guards and goes for it. Because if it goes for wide guard, I think I'm just going to stop being Tantrum the Aegislash. Or I could beat up close combat the Landorus, that also works as well. Where, let me see, I'm at +5 afterward. It is going to be the wide guard coming out, which is alright for me. Okay. And an Earthquake. Okay. I could also just Encore the Landorus. No, Encore the Landorus makes no sense. I think I'm just going to beat up close combat. I don't know if you're going to wide guard again here. Potentially you are. You could also just go for the Flash Cannon, I feel like, into my Terrakion. But again, I'd get the free switch into my Kommo. So I don't think I really mind that too much. As yeah, my opponent's going to go on the offense here. So I'm okay with this trade because I think +5 close combat should be able to knock out Landorus at that range. And then I can get my Kommo in. So let's see. Terrakion putting in some work though. Right now, close combat gonna fire off, finish off the Landorus. I kind of wish I clicked Rock Slide because I think Rock Slide would have just knocked out both these Pokemon, but didn't want to be in the worst case scenario. I could have also went for a Stomping Tantrum into Aegislash, but I didn't want my opponent's Aegislash to go for double protect right there, as Flash kind of gonna come out and target down the Terrakion slot. So Terrakion's gonna go down, which is alright here. And now I probably just get to Z move up. This Tailwind Peter's out from my side. I can always just reset it right here, get in Kommo. And now I think maybe my opponent has to play a mind game because I could Flamethrower the Aegislash and go for Tailwind on your potential wide guard. This Blaziken's going to come out. And I think I do want to go for Flamethrower because Flamethrower, then I can Soul Blaze. And then how many turns of Terrain do I have left? 1, so perfect, yeah. I'm gonna go for Tailwind, and I think I'm just gonna go for a Flamethrower. Because I'm not sure if Aegislash goes for the King Shield here or the Wide Guard. It is going to go for the Wide Guard because it is very likely I would set up here. But I'm fine with that because of the fact that now I'm able to knock out the Aegislash here. Because it's very unlikely. I think you want to protect your Blaziken. Blaziken's probably the one that can beat my Kommo, as the low kick's actually going to come out. Not Superpower. Flamethrower going to knock out the Aegislash. And now Kommo does outspeed the Blaziken with the Tailwind up, since Blaziken's only a +1 speed, which is what I wanted exactly. Because now, if you want to protect, I do have Encore option because of the fact Psychic Terrain is available, so you can't protect, and Soul Blade should just knock you out right here. So, yeah, I kind of pinned my opponent. The only way I think my opponent could have made it was me going for the King Shield there, but of course, it is really hard because, one, if I went for Soul Blaze and you went for King Shield, you would have lost the game anyway. So it really came down to that turn. It felt like it would be more likely you would go for the Wide Guard, though, because I feel like Blaziken is your best damage output against Kommo, especially since it can outspeed it even after boosted. So, does it really matter what I do here? Not really. I'm just gonna beat up in Soul Blaze. As beat up. Alright. 2 hits. Not much damage at all, but who knows? Maybe that damage should put it in the range of Soul Blaze if it's a bulky Blaziken, although very unlikely. So we're going to go for the Soul Blaze, and, you know, unfortunately we have to cut out this animation, but we will be able to knock out the Blaziken afterward. And we get a crit on the Blaziken, although pretty much I don't believe it mattered, because I'm pretty sure Soul Blaze would have knocked it out otherwise, and even then I don't think Blaziken was going to beat the Kommo in the end game. So, going to be able to pick up a win right there. Really nice there, as, yeah, going to be able to pick up that win. Even though it seemed like a super tough matchup. I guess the key points where my opponent gave me the Lele, which I feel like I really felt like the Lele was going to be preserved, or at least you switch into Landers to make your Lele survive, but ended up working out for me because of the fact I was able to get that powerful Rock Slide off in the Lele, get rid of the one Pokemon that was really ignoring my Soul Blaze, and the fact that I would always have to target because that Pokemon was the only Pokemon that can knock me out guaranteed even after a Soul Blaze boost, as getting rid of that Lele was absolutely huge. Unfortunately, the Gengar play didn't work out because I was really hoping maybe my opponent would double into Whimsicott turn 1, because I think if you double into Whimsicott turn 1 expecting Gengar to protect, you're actually in a really good spot there, especially if you Flare Blitz, U-turn, get out your, or even a U-turn protect. But then again, U-turn protect is a bit unnecessary, so yeah. Otherwise, if I had Fake Tears potentially, which I keep talking about if I had Fake Tears, it's just how how I'm used to playing with Gengar Whimsicott. If I had Fake Tears, I probably would have just went for Fake Tears Sludge Bomb right away into the Blaziken, not expecting it to protect. Man, I wish I had that option, but, you know, Protect has been coming in clutch, so I can't really complain. It's been actually doing a lot of work as well, and my play could have definitely worked potentially, especially if my opponent decided to double it up. The U-turn play, I did expect. The Flare Blitz in the Gengar, though, not what I expected at all. But, ooh, one game away from the 1800s, and who knows, maybe we'll get in this episode. We got a Kangaskhan, Landorus variant, Tapu Fini, Gengar, Cresselia, and Heatran. So, could be just a Mega Kangaskhan, could be Mega Gengar, or could be regular Gengar like Sash or something, which is definitely something potential. I gotta figure out what exactly I want here. I'm not exactly... The opposing Gengar matchups is a bit annoying, especially with Cresselia. Cresselia plus Gengar is actually a bit frustrating for my team to handle. Do I even like Kommo in this matchup? I guess I have to ask myself that question. I don't even think I need Fini in this matchup. Actually, I could maybe power through with my Terrakion on this matchup. I don't think Kommo is necessary at all. I think Incineroar plus Bulu could actually be really useful. I just don't know if you lead Landers or not. That's the main question I would have to ask if my opponent does. I think I'm going to lead Whimsicott Terrakion this time, because I think I could brute force my way through my opponent's team with Incineroar and Bulu in the back. We'll see how this goes, but I do think I could brute force my opponent's team. Let's see how this is going to go, though. I think I can just get a lot of damage off with Terrakion, especially on whatever my opponent leads. Especially if my opponent brings the Gengar, means you don't have any fake out pressure. Of course, if it's Sash Gengar, that could be a problem with Icy Wind or maybe Trick Room. Those are definitely potential options. So, gotta figure out what kind of Gengar set that is first, as Whimsicott Gengar will lead. But I'm pretty sure if it's Mega Gengar, you bring it in this battle. It's Cresselia Kangaskhan. Okay. Oh, this is not looking good. I wonder who you would fake out. I could potentially just go for a Rock Slide here and a beat up. Because even if you fake out Whimsicott, I get a Rock Slide off, maybe I could flinch a Cresselia. I don't know if it's Trick Room Cresselia, that's like the one thing. Because you might have Trick Room, you might also just have Icy Wind. I think I'm just gonna try to... I really just want to go for beat up Rock Slide though. Because I could see maybe Landers coming in too. You know what? I'm gonna go for beat up Rock Slide. The only way this gets punished is by a Z move on the Cresselia, which... That could be Z move Cresselia. It could also be Z move Heatran. Oh, this is an annoying matchup. Oh well. Kangaskhan gonna be out on the field. Let's see what my opponent's gonna do, as it will be a fake out. Who is it going on into? Into the Terrakion. Okay, so I'm gonna be able to get boosted Terrakion, depending on what my opponent really does here. So beat up. I should have one Psychic though, which is like the good thing, and I can encore. I do threaten the Encore on the Kangaskhan the following turn. So just gotta figure out what my opponent does here, but this Terrakion's looking pretty threatening to my opponent's team right now. Let's see what my opponent's gonna do with the Cresselia here. It really comes down to this. I don't think you go for a straight Shower Psyche right away. It's Trick Room, okay. I could Encore either Kangaskhan or Cresselia. It really just comes down to the option here. If you are Shower Psyche Cresselia, that becomes a really big problem. Oh, maybe I should have thought about this more. Maybe I should switch out Incineroar. I think I'm going to Encore the Cresselia here. Protect Terrakion. This could be bad because if Cresselia is in Z-move, it might switch out here. Actually, my opponent stays in with both. Huh. Are you going for a low kick, Shower Psyche? Because that could make a lot of sense here. It is Shower Psyche. Oh, but the problem is the Kangaskhan's going to threaten with the low kick afterward. This is still not too big. Actually, no, this actually isn't too bad. As long as I keep Terrakion around, I can always beat it up again later. Okay, this isn't too bad. Shower Psyche, gonna go out into Terrakion. Oh, that did a little bit more than I would have liked. Low kick. Double edge, okay. You knock out Whimsicott's not too bad, but I think I EV to live it. Yeah, I EV'd it to live. Maybe not the best case there. I can always beat up Terrakion later though, which is why I'm thinking maybe it's not bad to switch out Bulu, Terrakion right here and a Bulu potentially. You have to go for low Terrakion in my opinion. I want to keep Whimsicott out on the field. I think I'm just gonna... I don't think you target Whimsicott down either. So I'm actually just gonna beat up and go out into Bulu. On, I think, the Cresselia retreating out into maybe like a Tapu Fini, for instance. And a low kick. Heatran, okay. That's a little bit worse than I would have liked. Get Bulu in. Let's see what Kangaskhan does. Should be low kick. Double edge into the Terrakion? Are you kidding me? Oh, I could have got a Rock Slide off. No! Oh man, good play. And I really wish I played a bit more aggressive there. Not over, but still pretty bad. I'm going to go out into my Terrakion here, and I think I'm going to... So tough. Still tough. I think I'm going to protect Terrakion, go out and Incineroar. So I can get my Incineroar and get it Intimidate off. Okay, this is still pretty tough, but it's not exactly the end of the world. Really comes down to that last Pokemon though. I haven't figured it out. I think it has to be Feeny. But it could be Landers potentially, although I'm really hoping it is the Feeny. As we will protect here. Heat Wave's going to come out, which is to be expected. Incineroar is going to take it pretty comfortably as Double Edge is going to go out into that slot. Man, my opponent's really ignoring this Terrakion, calling every single protect. I think you might want to double up the Incineroar this turn. Or maybe just Earth Power Terrakion. Alright, I'm going to go for my close combat here into the Kangaskhan, and I'm going to go for a Fake Out into the Heatran. I got to start playing a bit aggressive here and hope my opponent expects maybe a Bulu coming in. So let's see what my opponent does. Gonna finally go for that low kick, and it is going to target down Terrakion. I literally got outright every single turn. Very nicely played from my opponent. I can't come back. I can't touch the Heatran. If I had Superpower, even if I had Superpower, I don't feel like I can beat... Because I can't beat the combination of Feeny plus Heatran anyway. Maybe I should have went out into Bulu. I was really hoping maybe my opponent would get rid of Incineroar and maybe try to get Cresselia in. Alright, Bulu. I do have Rock Slide. So I'll try to go for Rock Slide. I don't know, maybe you switch out Kang here? No, you don't. Okay, so Rock Slide. Double Edge is going to come out into Incineroar. I do need to flinch on the Heatran. Oh, wow, I lived 1-1. I do get the flinch on Heatran. Let's figure out the item. Probably Shucka? Yeah, it is Shucka. Okay. I can still come back from this. Yeah, I can still come back from this. I'm gonna go for a Rock Slide and knock off into Kangaskhan. I think Kang... Would he switch out? No, but Heatran's gonna protect. Okay, so I only need one flinch on the Kangaskhan, it looks like. Oh, that Sucker Punch. Oh... I mean, I'll try to one. I don't think I can beat my opponent's team with Bulu, but you know what? We're gonna try. Although, really, all Kangaskhan has to do here is switch on to Cresselia, I feel like. And then you sack the Heatran, if I do get all those flinches in time. And then you can just go for Fake Out Trick Room, and that'd be a good game. Wow, really aggressively played for my opponent, and very fantastically as well, out-reading me every single turn. I think I need to go aggressive in this game, but I just didn't feel like if I lose Terrakion, I lose the offensive pressure, which is the main part because Kangaskhan Heatran is the bane. How I usually handled the mode was maybe Gengar Whimsicott, but I didn't want to bring Gengar here because I didn't want to potentially go against a Gengar speed tie if it was Mega Gengar in the back and my opponent did decide to bring it because of the fact that, well, then again, if you're my opponent, I don't think you want to risk it either. So I guess it is fair you don't bring out the Mega Gengar there. Very nicely played for my opponent, though. I think what I needed to do there... I really wish I made the play of going out into my Incineroar for Whimsicott and going for a Rock Slide to turn. You went for the Double Edge and I switched out my Terrakion. Maybe I set up a bit too early with Terrakion. Maybe also what I could have done turn 1. I didn't exactly have to go for the plays I made. I could have went for the Protect with Whimsicott turn 1, got in Incineroar because I think that would have worked too. I could have also Encored the Kangaskhan turn 1. Which, actually, now that I think about it, Encore the Kangaskhan might have actually been the better play now that I'm looking back at it. Because if you go for Fake Out and Whimsicott, Terrakion goes for its attack anyway. If you go for Fake Out in a Terrakion, I lock you into Encore, you're most likely going to go for Trick Room in that situation. So you get the Trick Room up, but I can Encore again. You go for Shattered Psyche, but at least... Kangaskhan is forced to switch out, so maybe I have room to actually switch out my Terrakion into my Incineroar that turn. So maybe those were the plays I needed to make in order to put myself in a good position early on, but my opponent was just able to capitalize off me going for protect every time with Terrakion, and then caught me the one time I didn't decide to protect for Terrakion. So very nicely played. But hope everyone enjoyed today's episode of VGC 2018 Back to Back Battles. If you did, please leave a like down below, shows your support, as well as you can check out the rest of my stuff down below in the description, such as my social medias, the side series on the channel, and all that will be linked down below. Otherwise, feel free to check out the team pace down below, as well as feel free to leave a comment, as I do tend to read them. Otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, people, and until we battle again, I'll catch you all later.